All right, everybody, thanks again for joining us. My name is Benjamin. I'm with the Ecomdash support team, and I'll be walking you through this demo here of Phase 2 of our UI updates. So Phase 1 was really focused on the list screen. So the screens where you see all your products, these main pages, kind of reorganizing some of the buttons, filters, changing the general look and feel of things. Phase 2 is where we started diving into the order details of Ecomdash, updating those, trying to make it make it so it's fewer clicks to see information, just generally organizing information in a different way, trying to make it more efficient. The goal of these updates are always to benefit our sellers. And one of the really great things with Phase 1 was the amount of feedback that we received. So we did a similar demo. We got a lot of great feedback, made a lot of changes based on that feedback. We heard some really good stuff. Once we put the updates in the hands of our users, you guys were really great to let us know, what worked and what didn't, and we made some of those changes. So we really do appreciate that, and we hope to see the same thing with this one. Again, the goal with these is always to assist our users to make the software easier to use, both for new users and existing users. So as we go through this demo, please feel free to submit any questions that you have. We'll take some time at the end to answer them. And as these changes start to roll out, again, please reach out to us. Let us know your feedback. We really appreciate it just all around as we, try and gauge the success of these types of things. It all really hinges on our users and how it works for them. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, like I mentioned, Phase 1 was more about pages like your all inventory, low inventory, active listings. Phase 2 is going into order details. So we're going to start here under restock management and purchase orders. So we're going to get a purchase order created. We'll create a full sample one all the way through receiving it, just to show you what that workflow is like, and what some of the changes are we made. So we're going to go ahead and click Add New. The first thing you'll notice is instead of just throwing you right into the purchase order, when you click Add New, we're going to take you to a page where you can define some of those required fields for a purchase order, just to try and make it a little bit easier, a little bit clearer as to which fields need to be set first. So we give you a chance to set the purchase order number, who's creating it, the date, and the supplier you're creating it for. So we go ahead and click Create. The second thing you'll notice is instead of then taking us into the purchase order details, this takes us to your Add Products. So as you're creating a PO, we understand first thing you need to define is your purchase order number and who you're buying it from. But the second thing is you adding products to the purchase order. So again, we remove clicks. You don't have to go into add products. Once you add that information, we're going to take you right there where you can pick the products you want to add. So we're going to go ahead and pick some of these items here and add them to the purchase order. And here's what our new purchase order screen looks like. So when it loads up, you'll notice there are no more tabs. And essentially what we've done is we've taken what was previously hidden away in tabs and moved them to what we're calling cards. So you've got your cards on the right-hand side of the page where you can see information about your supplier. So if you've set up a supplier and you filled out their address, you filled out their information, that'll all display here instead of your bill to address being hidden in a tab where you'd have to click it to even see what your bill to address is. It's now accessible by clicking this little icon here where you can come in here and you can fill out, your information. Let us know what it is. Let's see here. We'll get some test information in here so I can show you what this looks like. And we'll click Save. So now you'll notice the page is going to refresh and that card will now display that information. So again, instead of making it to where previously you had to dive into tabs to be able to see this information and set it, now you can very easily see what the information is ahead of time and set it if you need to. Same thing with Ship To. So anytime you see one of these little edit links, it is basically pop up to edit this, pick the supplier, change to Ship To. Up here on the left hand side, you've got your purchase order number, the status, who it was created by, and the create date. If you need to edit any of that information, you can click this icon to open this up as well, where you'd be able to make your changes if you need to. Over here on the right hand side, we've got a few new icons. We've got a comments icon. So the way this works is by default, this comments bubble is going to be just blank. It's not filled in. It has the white space in the middle. Well, when you come in here and you put information in, it's going to refresh, and that comments bubble is going to fill in. That's to let you know that this purchase order has comments, and you can click that to view it. Then to the right, we've got an email logo or an envelope. That's where you can send out an email to your supplier. And then we also have the print option to print your purchase order out. So in terms of your actions, things like cloning, submitting, that has all been moved up here under this actions button. No click required. We made it a hover button. That was based on a lot of feedback we had heard from our previous release. So this is a hover button now that you can load up and make your selections. So hover over it, submit an email, submit and print, cancel the order, clone and save. So if you make any changes, you can save it there. We've also reorganized the table to help make it look less cluttered. So we've organized some information into one column. Your product info column now has the name, the SKU, and the current quantity on hand. And then down at the bottom, we've organized it like a receipt where you've got your merchandise total, your various fees and taxes, and then we'll give you an order total down at the bottom. So if you want to submit the email, so I'll show you, we'll go ahead and submit this so that I can show you what it looks like to receive in a PO. So once a purchase order is in a submitted status, whereas previously you had a receipt of goods tab, you now have a receipt of goods card. Any card that requires action is going to be bolded black, just to let you know, you draw attention to it. This is where you need to take action on these items. So here you can print out your receipt of goods. You can edit it where you can fill out the tracking ID, who the carrier was that it got shipped on, and so forth. But to actually receive it, you're going to click this button, Complete Purchase Order. And in here, you can, same as before, you can fill it out individually, receive the entire order. One of the big things we added to this release, though, is we did give you the option to complete without receiving. If you choose that option, so if you take that option at any point without receiving the full quantities, you're going to get a pop-up like this basically to let you know, hey, like this PO is not fully received. If you close it now, you will not be able to make any changes. So that is how it was previously. Just previously, we didn't have anything to let our users know that that was the case. And a lot of times our users were reaching out to support for good reason, asking questions. Hey, why can't I edit this PO? Well, it's because it had been received. Now we're giving you an update before you do that to let you know and make you aware. Once this is marked as completely received, you will not be able to edit it. But if you are simply receiving it, receive the entire order, receive purchase order, and then that's it. The purchase order is now in a received status. The quantities have been added in to the products. And that completes the process. So again, we didn't make a ton of changes, but the biggest thing we did do was take your tabs and just make them into these cards over here on the right to give you some more visibility into what's going on there. So the next thing we'll take, and again, if you have any questions about that process, please feel free to submit it if you haven't already. I'm just going to keep going through the demo, going on to the next sections, but once we get through them all, we can go back through and answer some of these questions on the purchase orders. So the next section in Restock is work orders. So if you utilize our work order functionality at all, this will kind of show you some of the changes we have made to that feature. It's going to look very similar. A lot of these we try to make it very consistent. So again, when you add a new work order, it's going to take you to a page where you can define the required information. Once you click create, we're going to take you right into the add products page to be able to pick the products you want to add. This particular account only has one built product added to it for testing. So I will add this item to the work order. When we get it into the work order, so we're breaking down all the information here for you. Again, your product info tab or column is going to have some more additional information. And we can type in the quantity we want to reorder, let that load up. If we click the green plus, it'll show us the items that make up that built product, the quantity the build requires, and what the current quantity on hand is for those items. And then again, you've got a manufactured tab. So if you come in here, you can fill out information if you want to, but once you've put your items in, you can submit it. and then you'll see a button complete build. Come in here, mark all as built. Again, if you click complete without building, we'll give you a heads up. Hey, if you're doing this, here's what'll happen if you do. But if you are receiving the full thing, fill it out and complete build. And that will complete the work order process. So again, you've got your comments icon that is not filled out. Once you fill out comments, it will fill in to indicate there are comments for the order. And then you've got your print options. The last order detail in restock that we have is our internal transfers. So if we take a look at this page and get it pulled up, we get into here, same type thing right off the bat. We're going to ask for that required information. Go ahead, let us know what the origination warehouse is and what the destination warehouse, and then create. And then when you get in here, you can go ahead and add the items on that you're going to be moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of these products to an internal transfer. You see all the items, you fill out what quantity to receive, the quantity they're going to be getting. So let's say 7, 10, and 9. So fill all that out. If you fill out quantity to receive, it auto fills out quantity to send for you. Again, you've got your comments bubble, your print icon. If you have filled out the address information for your destination warehouse, that'll show here. Same thing for your origination, and then you've got a card where you can fill out any shipping information for this. Once we come up here, actions, mark is in transit. We're now going to get a new card to be able to complete the transfer. We'll be able to receive it in. So we'll be able to go into complete transfer, mark all as received, mark as received, and it is now in a received status. Quantity has been moved and has been added. So that kind of completes the restock section. So the only other real order details we have is your sales orders and shipping orders. So that's where we'll move to next. So we're going to start by creating a manual sales order. And again, we really work to try and make a lot of this consistent throughout all these pages so that, despite what order you're working in, it's familiar. You're not having to learn a new method just because you're in a different section. So we really did try and make all this very uniform for you. So again, add that sales order, define which storefront it's for, let us know is this a customer pickup or shipping, and then assign it to one of your employees. Create, it's going to take us right into add products. Let's just say again we're going to add all of these items to this sales order. Alright, then we can put fill out a price in here for these items. Since it's a test account, these aren't actually live listings. They do not have a price set. So we've got that added there. You can again, we kept the green plus icon. It's just now moved to the right where you can expand it. See your My Warehouse, which warehouse the lines are allocated to. And one of the big things here is we took your bill to and your ship to tabs and made them visible. Previously, users would run into issues creating sales orders because a ship to or a bill to address wasn't filled out. There was no way to know that until you click to the tab to see whether it was filled out or not. So we've got those two cards at the very top so you can very quickly see your bill to and ship to address. If you have any custom order fields, those will now be here in your order fields card. You'll be able to open it up. Any custom order fields you've added to your account would show there and you'd be able to fill them out. So we're going to take this order and we're just going to put a test address in here. So let's see, we can just do again one test away. Charlotte, North Carolina, and we'll walk through the process of creating a shipping label as well. 28223, so we add that in there. Then we just need to click into the ship to tab and say it's the same as the bill to. Alright, so we've got our addresses set. Now we can come up here and we can do actions. First we need to mark the payment as received. That way it can be considered paid and ready to ship. Once payment's been received, then we can do actions, create shipping order. So we'll, of course, let you know, hey, which items are you shipping out right now? So if you are doing partial shipments, you can do that. But we're going to we're going to ship the entire order here today. And now it'll take you into the shipping order details. So if you click into a shipping order, this is what it looks like. You've got your, same type thing, got some information up here. You've got the products that were added. If you're using some other software to ship Ecomdash out, you can come in here, tell us what shipper you're using, fill out the tracking information and so forth so that we can send it. You also have your logos here to be able to print your pick list and your packing slips. And then you have your email as well. Same thing with the comments. And then from here to actually print the label, you've got your manage labels card with an option to, and you can see any labels you have created by clicking that. Or to create one, you just click create shipping label. Since I don't have a valid address, it's not going to let me do it, but then it will basically take you to a page where you'll be able to click a similar icon to this, pick your shipper, fill the info, just like you did before, pick the shipper you're shipping with, pick the carrier, pick the box type, and pick your rate. And once you've picked all that information, we'll show you all the rates that are available for that, and you'll just click the box icon to print it just like you did previously, but we're just now organizing it in a different way. But that's really the extent of the changes to Ecomdash in Phase 2. Phase 2 was a much smaller, much more focused release compared to Phase 1 that touched a lot more spaces in Ecomdash. So this is heavily focused on order details. And most of the changes are simply moving something that was in a tab into a card to make it more visible to our users. But functionally, really there's no other changes. There's not any new features with this release on how purchase orders work or anything like that. It's more just kind of the design, trying to make it a little bit more user friendly, a little bit easier to see the information without having to click through a bunch of tabs and wait for them to load and get running. So yeah, I appreciate all the feedback that's been submitted here, as well as the questions. We really appreciate it. Like I said, without users, software as a service, we're nothing without our users. The users mean everything. So we really do appreciate it. And again, just like we did with Phase 1, we put Phase 1 out there. We put it out there confidently. But, once our users who use it every single day and is it in its intended use they reached out and they said, hey, having the rows be a single click doesn't work because I can't copy my information out. Well, we changed that to a double click, so users who copy information out aren't going to do it. Things like bulk actions, now that's an extra click. Actions is an extra click. We turn those into hover buttons. So, even though these are different phases, this is Phase 2, well, there's going to be Phase 2A, Phase 2B. When we get this out there, we're going to put it out there, see what our users are saying about it, see if we see any patterns coming from a lot of users, and if we see that kind of stuff, we're going to address it. Again, everything we do here, this is not for our own benefit. It is for all of our users. So we care about how it works for you and want to hear about it. So as this rolls out, whether it's sending an email to support@ecomdash.com, scheduling a call with us to voice your feedback, we want to hear it. We want to know. All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody joining today. Hopefully, this was able to give you an idea of how things are going to look and operate as this release rolls out. We look forward to getting it out there, getting it in your hands, having you all use it, and hopefully make your lives easier. That's always the goal. But thank you for joining ahead. We're going to keep trying to do these. As we put some of these larger changes out that really affect our users, we're going to keep trying to host these webinars ahead of time, give you an idea of what this stuff looks like before you log in and see it for the first time. Our support team is going through guides, making sure they're updated. So if you do get stuck or you have any questions, take a look at the guide, schedule a call with us, shoot us an email. Any of us are happy to walk over these changes with you, answer any questions you may have. And then, yeah, we're going to save a recording of this demo, and we will get it over to our email team. They're going to put together a mass email for everyone who attended or registered for the webinar, and we'll get it sent out there with the link. We'll also have a recording out on YouTube. So we'll have something out there for you all. But thanks again. Again, my name is Benjamin. I'm with the support team. I recognize a lot of the names here, and I look forward to talking with all of you and hearing your feedback. But I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and we look forward to hearing from you later on this week as we push some of these changes out. So thanks again, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.